I would like parents or people who work with children to watch this particular post on GROOMING. First, what is it? It's usually when someone targets someone that's vulnerable emotionally. You know, they connect with them emotionally with a vulnerable person. There are many ways or faces of how it looks. I know, I grew up on the streets. Since pretty much my birth, I have been subject to that kind of behaviour. It can be financial, where someone could step in and buy, oh, can I buy you a pair of shoes? Oh, you need a new jumper, give you money. So it's financial security is one way that they could do it. Seems harmless, and it's often by people you least expect. You know, it's often, in my case, was people in positions of power, which can be a teacher, which can be a counsellor, social worker, a parent, a family friend, or something like that. Another one that they use is attaboys. What I mean by that is by complimenting or, you know, overly nice, you know. So like to me, they say, oh, you're such a handsome boy. Oh, you're so smart. Look at the way the other kids gather around you, man. You know, pumping your tyres kind of thing. So that's another way that I remember. Security or safety, you know, like if you're living on the streets, offering a place to live or security of some kind. There are many faces to it, but what I have noticed is that the face of this has changed. When I grew up on the streets, it was in your face, right? You go in a pinball parlour, you go anywhere where children were present, so were these fucking grubs. These days, they're doing it on a computer, and very smartly. What they do is they'll play games with your kids, and they'll get to know your kids, and they'll talk to them, and your kids will be familiar with them because they speak to them every day. Although they've never seen them, they are familiar with them by talking to them each day on the games and stuff. I would applaud all parents to fill the voids so that when the child walks out of the home, they're not looking for those gaps to be filled, because that's what a predator does. They look at a vulnerable person and they fill in the missing void, whether it be they need love, whether they need their pious tongue, whether they need money, whether they need a roof over their head, whether they need Persian rugs, whatever the fuck it is, they'll find that gap. So you need to be filling that gap. But the most important part, in my opinion, is we need to have these conversations with our children. We need to talk to them about body safety issues and about unwanted approaches and unwanted touches. And we need to teach our children to protect their mates. You know, check your 5/8s, man. Make sure that they're fucking looked after, because we often are good at identifying when someone we love or someone we know is in trouble. We're not so good at doing it for ourselves. So we can learn to have a circle of friends that we can sort of, you know, keep our eye out. And if we see adults approaching them, offering them these things, or being overly kind or overly attentive, the most common ones are women who break up with their husbands, get new husbands, and their stepfather steps in, and they one of the most common ones with girls and with boys. That I saw people in positions of power. Fucking teachers were the most common one I saw. School teachers and principals, politicians, lawyers, judges. Doesn't matter what position they're in. That's why I'm not a big fan of these WCCs working with children's checks, because it doesn't identify intent. It doesn't identify what someone's thought process is. What it does is identify someone that's already been convicted of such a crime, and that sort of person, we don't need a WCC. They should have a fucking thing tattooed on their fucking head, you know, fucking piece of shit. But anyway, have a beautiful day, guys. I wanted to speak on that. I'm also going to speak to the biological effects that Persian rugs has on the body and on emotions, because it's literally robbing the serotonin in people's brains, and I'd like people to know that. But anyway, let's stay on point, because and this one's about GROOMING. I'm sorry I'm spelling the word, but TikTok is fucking all the words that matter. There's 3 words that I want to say all the time. One's around CSA, one's about unalive, and one's about GROOMING. We are desensitizing these words. We are taking the fucking power out of these words by not being allowed to use them. These words should be spoken in their fullness. Because it disrespects everyone that's been lost along the way to any of those things. Much love, everyone.